Oh, I have a sense that I'm going to be digging pretty hard into the personal suffering as a minority well on this one. I admit, since coming out as trans, yes, I know I need to work on the voice. I've spent way too much time talking about it. But in the show and in the majority of children's media in the US, with the notable exception of Paranorman, LGBT issues just don't show up. Which is why entering into the Lost Treasure of Griffonstone is so weird for me. I mean, Gilda was one of the first people in the series that was seriously suggested to be LGBT. And I'm just going to come out and say it makes a lot of sense. When you're in a relationship with someone of the same gender, there can be this sense that it's the two of you against the world, that everyone is trying to hunt you down and you need to cling tightly to them and your community or you're just not going to make it through the day. Of course, when we arrived at Griffonstone, I was also quickly reminded of that other minority which I'm a part of.
Give me more bits.
Ugh. Okay, so, fun fact, the Jewish people were actually forced into money lending in the Middle Ages due to a bunch of confusing biblical stuff about interest rates. Yes, there are biblical things about interest rates. So that tells you a lot. I know that's not fair to the episode, and interpreting the griffins as Jewish allegories is a bit of a stretch, but I admit to oversensitivity towards that particular stereotype. But what isn't unfair to talk about in this episode is something that, at least for me, has always been a part of, I guess, my people's identities, which is grasping for culture. When life sucks and you feel like everyone's putting you down, you can get completely screwed up. You feel like all of your problems come from external bad guys, and that if you can just get that one little thing that will give you validation to the rest of the world, then you can run outside and be happy with yourself, and all your problems will go away. But you know deep down that's not the case. Just because you're part of a group of people whose lives suck in some ways doesn't make it the source of all of your problems. You can't use being a griffin or a Jew or trans as a reason to give up and blame other people for everything. Okay, some things definitely, but not everything. The point is, you have to learn that you have to grow along with the world, and that's not going to happen by putting other people down. Other people have problems too. No one is immune from life sucking, and at the end of the day, all the pride in the world isn't worth losing the people we care about. I guess, what do I have to say about this episode? I loved it, and it helped me think through some stuff. Probably not what most people thought about in this episode, but I thought I'd open up a bit and let you in. I think if folks did that more, we'd have a better world. So that was a weird analysis, but hey, what can I say? Sometimes I like to look at things from a different angle. And now I have a question for you. Did you feel like the Griffins represented a minority or something else entirely? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. That's all for this week. Remember, keep your head held high.